My brother demanded $122,000 per guest to attend his luxury wedding in Dubai. Then the wedding planners quit, and his fiancée gave him a shocking ultimatum that changed everything. Hi Reddit. It's me, Nathan, and I just received the most insane wedding invitation of my life. Let me start with some background. My older brother, Ethan, has always been that guy. The one who refuses to drink anything that isn't imported, scoffs at people who drive domestic cars, and considers a vacation under $10,000 a waste of time. His fiancée, Sophia, is just as bad, if not worse. She's an influencer who constantly talks about manifesting luxury, while subtly shaming people who don't own designer clothes. So when I got an email from Ethan about his wedding, I already knew it was going to be over the top. What I didn't expect was that attending his wedding would cost me more than most people make in a year. They were getting married in Santorini, Greece, and had put together an exclusive wedding experience that would require every guest to pay $120,000 per person for the privilege of attending. This once-in-a-lifetime package included a 3-night stay at a luxury resort, a private yacht party, Michelin star dining, and exclusive entertainment, whatever that meant. And to top it all off, every guest had to sign an NDA. An NDA. For a wedding. I stared at my screen, reading and rereading the email, thinking maybe I had misunderstood. Maybe he meant $1,200? Maybe they were covering the costs and just giving us a breakdown of the pricing? But no. Ethan and Sophia were dead serious about this. Guests were expected to pay their own way, including flights, which would easily add another few grand. For a moment, I thought it was some elaborate prank. Ethan had pulled dumb stunts before, like the time he sent out fake Oscar-style invitations for his birthday party. But this was another level of delusion. I needed someone else to confirm that I wasn't losing my mind, so I called my younger sister, Lily. The second she answered, I didn't even say hello. Tell me you saw Ethan's wedding invitation. Oh my God, Nathan, she groaned. I was hoping I hallucinated that. So it's real? I asked, gripping my phone. $120,000 per person, she practically shrieked. And an NDA? Who do they think they are, royalty? Right? And we have to pay for our own flights on top of that. This is actually insane, Lily said. Even if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't waste it on a wedding. What do they think is going to happen at this thing? Are they sacrificing a unicorn at the altar? I wouldn't be surprised, I muttered. And let's be real, they don't even have that kind of money. Ethan and Sophia liked to act rich, but the truth was, their lifestyle was built on credit cards and appearances. Ethan worked in finance, not at a high level, just enough to sound impressive at parties. Sophia made money from social media sponsorships, but not enough to fund a wedding like this. So how the hell were they expecting guests to foot the bill for something they couldn't even afford themselves? Lily sighed. Are Mom and Dad actually going? I hesitated. I have no idea, but I'm about to find out. Right on cue, my phone lit up with Mom's name. I put Lily on hold and braced myself. Hey Mom, I said. Let me guess. You want to talk about Ethan's wedding? She hesitated. Well, yes, honey. I know it's expensive, but this is your brother's big day. He really wants you there. And he wants me to go bankrupt for it. I shot back. Mom sighed. It's not about the money, Nathan. It's about the experience. They want this to be a once-in-a-lifetime event. For $120,000, I could have a once-in-a-lifetime event in my own damn city, I said. They're just trying to keep things intimate, she said. They can't invite too many people, so they wanted to make it exclusive. Oh, so this is for my benefit? I asked, incredulous. Mom, they're charging us to attend their wedding. This isn't a destination wedding. This is a business venture. She sighed again. Your father and I are still discussing it. I think it would mean a lot to Ethan if we all went. I pinched the bridge of my nose. I'll think about it. That was a lie. There was no way in hell I was spending that kind of money on a wedding. The next morning, I checked the family group chat, fully expecting some drama. And sure enough, it was already on fire. The family group chat was already in full-blown chaos by the time I woke up. I scrolled up to see where it all started. My cousin Jake, who has zero filter and even less patience for stupidity, had kicked things off with a simple message. Am I the only one who thinks this wedding is a straight-up scam? That one sentence was enough to ignite a wildfire. Aunt Linda. We should all feel honored to be part of such an exclusive event. Uncle Rick. Honored. They're charging us more than I paid for my first house. Cousin Laura. Why do we have to sign an NDA? Are they planning to sacrifice a goat? Grandma, who still wasn't fully sure how group chats worked, simply dropped in. Why do I need to sign an NDA? Is there nudity? I nearly choked on my coffee. By noon, family members were already dropping out. Uncle Mark, always the practical one, wrote, I wouldn't pay $120,000 to see Jesus rise from the grave, let alone to watch Ethan get married. Lily jumped in next. For that money, we could all go on a luxury European vacation together. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, Ethan himself showed up in the chat. If you guys really cared about me, you'd be there. It's not about the money. It's about supporting me on the most important day of my life. If you can't afford it, just say so. Here we go. The guilt trip. I took a deep breath before responding. Ethan, it's not that we don't want to be there. But $120,000 per person? Most of us don't have that kind of money just lying around. And the NDA thing? It's weird. His reply was instant. It's not weird. Celebrities do it all the time. If you guys really think my wedding isn't worth it, then don't come. And just like that, the chat went silent. I knew this wedding drama wasn't over. Not even close. For a brief moment, the family group chat went completely dead. No one wanted to be the first to respond after Ethan's dramatic exit. But then, like a volcano waiting to erupt, the messages started flooding in. Uncle Rick, always the first to call out nonsense, was the first to break the silence. So let me get this straight. You want us to drop more than 6 figures per person on your wedding, sign a legal contract like we're CIA operatives, and now you're guilt-tripping us when we say no? Boy, have you lost your damn mind? That set off a chain reaction. Cousin Jake. This is a hostage situation, not a wedding. Aunt Brenda. I love you, Ethan, but we're not all hedge fund managers. Some of us have mortgages and normal people problems. Even my mom, who had spent the last 24 hours trying to convince me to consider going, finally cracked. Ethan, honey, we need to talk about this. Your father and I are having a hard time justifying this expense. I sat back, stunned. If Mom was questioning it, that meant Dad was already on the warpath. Ethan was in trouble. A few minutes later, Lily called me, her voice giddy with chaos. Oh my God. Nathan, are you seeing this? Mom is finally pushing back. I know, I muttered, still trying to process the meltdown happening in real time. And look at the guest list, she added. I frowned. What guest list? Jake just sent a screenshot. The wedding planners emailed the updated reservations. Half the guests have dropped out. I checked my phone. She wasn't exaggerating. Ethan and Sophia had originally invited over 200 people. Now barely 80 names remained. Entire branches of our family were gone. Mom and Dad weren't even on the list anymore. Lily sent another message. Mom and Dad officially backed out. They're not paying $240,000 to attend a wedding they don't even support. That sent another wave of messages through the chat. Uncle Mark. Wait. If even their own parents aren't going, why are we still arguing about this? Cousin Laura. I feel like we're watching the Titanic sink in real time. Some distant relative I barely remembered chimed in. Are we sure this wedding is even still happening? The next sign that things were truly falling apart came later that night. Aunt Brenda called me, whispering like she was about to leak top-secret government intel. Nathan, you will not believe what's happening. Oh, I believe it. Hit me. The caterers just pulled out. I sat up. Wait, what? Yeah. Apparently, the deposit wasn't paid, and they refused to keep the reservation. You're telling me Ethan and Sophia haven't even paid for the catering yet? Nope, she said, sounding way too amused. And guess what? The decorators pulled out too. No flowers, no table settings, nothing. I had to mute my phone because I was laughing so hard. These two had been charging guests over $120,000 per head, demanding NDAs and acting like royalty, but they hadn't even paid their vendors. And then, just when I thought things couldn't possibly get worse, Sophia snapped. She sent a 6-paragraph rant in the wedding group chat that read like a dramatic monologue from a bad soap opera. I cannot believe this. You people are destroying my wedding. This was supposed to be my dream day, and instead, it's turning into a nightmare because of all of you. Do you have any idea how much effort I put into this? I trusted you. I expected my future family to be there for me. And instead, you're all abandoning me like I mean nothing to you. You're ruining everything. 1 minute later, another message popped up. And to those of you who backed out last minute, you should be ashamed. Your selfishness has cost us. The planners are canceling because of you. The vendors won't work with us because of you. I hope you all feel guilty for ruining what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. It was unhinged. Uncle Rick, who at this point had zero patience left, responded immediately. Or maybe they canceled because y'all never paid them. That got him immediately removed from the wedding group chat. By the end of the day, it was clear. The wedding was a sinking ship. The wedding was falling apart faster than anyone could have predicted. And honestly, I was living for it. By the next morning, the wedding group chat had turned into a full-blown battlefield. Relatives were taking sides, throwing accusations, and exposing every flaw in Ethan and Sophia's ridiculous wedding scheme. People who had initially stayed quiet were finally speaking up, and it was brutal. Cousin Jake, so just to clarify, the venue still isn't fully paid for either? Aunt Brenda, nope, just heard from a friend in event planning. Apparently, the resort still hasn't received the final payment, and they're considering pulling the plug. Cousin Laura, wait, so they were charging us $120,000 per person, but they didn't even have the money to secure their own wedding. Uncle Rick, this is highway robbery. Y'all were out here crowdfunding your own wedding and calling it exclusive. Sophia wasn't handling the backlash well. She fired back with another dramatic rant, blaming everyone except herself and Ethan. How dare you judge us? Planning a wedding of this caliber takes time and money. We wanted to create a luxury experience for our guests. But no, none of you appreciate it. You don't understand the stress we've been under. You have no idea what it takes to plan a wedding like this. Aunt Linda tried to defend them. Everyone needs to calm down. Weddings are stressful. Maybe if we all pitched in. She didn't even get to finish before Grandma, of all people, shut it down. Pitched in. I've been to a lot of weddings in my life, and let me tell you, this is the first time I've ever seen a wedding turn into a GoFundMe. The group chat exploded. I was crying laughing when Lily called me. Nathan, you are not ready for this. The yacht company just pulled out. What? I nearly dropped my phone. The company they booked for their private yacht party just canceled the contract. Apparently, they never finished paying for it. I lost it. This was beyond a disaster. It was like watching a live-action train wreck in slow motion. So what does this mean? I asked, still laughing. It means, Lily said, barely containing her glee, that their exclusive luxury wedding experience now has no venue, no catering, no decorations, and no yacht. I sat back, shaking my head. Holy hell, this is beautiful. But then, just when I thought things couldn't possibly get worse, Ethan called me. I debated ignoring it. After everything, the guilt trips, the entitlement, the ridiculous demands, what could he possibly have to say now? But curiosity got the best of me. I picked up. Yeah. Ethan didn't even bother with small talk. His voice was tense, like he hadn't slept in days. You win, he said flatly. I frowned. What are you talking about? You don't have to pay for the wedding package anymore, he muttered. I'll cover it. The flight, the hotel, everything. Just get on the plane. I almost laughed out loud. Wait, you're offering to pay for me to come now? After calling me selfish and broke? After saying I didn't care about you? It's not about that, Ethan snapped. but I could hear the desperation in his voice. It's about family. I want my brother there. Oh, of course, I said, smirking. And let me guess, the NDA still stands? He hesitated. Yes, but... I cut him off. Ethan, do you hear yourself? You insulted me, called me selfish, and now, because your wedding is falling apart, you're begging me to come, but still want me to sign a damn contract. You don't understand, he said, voice rising. The wedding is falling apart. People keep backing out. Mom and Dad aren't even coming. Do you have any idea what that's doing to Sophia? I let out a slow breath. Maybe, I said carefully. If you and Sophia hadn't been treating this like a royal coronation, people wouldn't be dropping like flies. Silence. Then a sharp exhale. I just need you there, Nathan. And I just need you to understand that this whole thing is a disaster. And I'm not getting involved. Ethan's voice turned cold. You're making a mistake. I snorted. No, Ethan. The mistake was planning a wedding you couldn't afford. And I hung up. Within an hour, the group chat was on fire again. Cousin Jake. New update. Aunt Linda just got word that the venue is officially canceling. Lily. Oh my God. The wedding is officially without a venue. I nearly fell off my chair. Cousin Laura. Holy hell. Is there even going to be a wedding anymore? Uncle Rick. At this point, I think we're just watching Ethan and Sophia's egos get publicly executed. Lily texted me separately. I just talked to Mom. The wedding planners quit. Apparently, Sophia was being a nightmare and kept making last-minute, unrealistic demands. I rubbed my face, trying to process all of this. Jesus Christ. So what happens now? Lily snorted. I don't know, but I'm about to grab some popcorn, because this is about to go nuclear. The implosion happened faster than anyone expected. Within 24 hours, the entire wedding had gone from a luxury spectacle to a full-scale catastrophe. The venue was gone. The caterers had bailed. The yacht company had pulled out. The wedding planners had quit. And Sophia was losing her mind. It all started when the resort officially sent out cancellation notices. Someone, probably one of our aunts, leaked the news to the family group chat, and from there it was game over. Cousin Jake was the first to break the silence. Welp, the Titanic has officially hit the iceberg. Uncle Rick. This is the fastest I've ever seen a wedding self-destruct. Aunt Brenda. So, is the wedding even happening anymore? Or are we just watching a really expensive breakdown? Then, at exactly 7:43 p.m., Sophia snapped. She sent one message. Just one. But it was so unhinged, so full of delusion, that I had to read it twice. How dare they cancel my wedding? This is my dream. They can't do this to me. 2 minutes later, another message. This is all your fault. If you selfish people had just come to the wedding, none of this would be happening. This was about to get good. Ethan, finally realizing the disaster unfolding in real time, jumped in next. Can everyone stop panicking and help us fix this? We need a new venue ASAP. And then, Uncle Rick, once again proving that he was the family's greatest gift, responded instantly. You mean you need a new venue? The rest of us are just here for the drama. I lost it. I was laughing so hard I had to put my phone down. The family group chat was officially a war zone, and Ethan and Sophia were standing in the middle of it, completely outnumbered. But just when I thought this was as bad as it could get, Lily called me, her voice breathless with excitement. Nathan, are you sitting down? No. Should I be? Yes. The hotel just canceled their contract. I sat up so fast I nearly pulled a muscle. Wait, what? You heard me. Lily was practically vibrating with excitement. The resort officially canceled the entire wedding. They sent out an email saying that due to non-payment and lack of finalized guest reservations, they are no longer hosting the event. I rubbed my face, trying to process what I was hearing. Jesus Christ. So what happens now? Lily snorted. I don't know, but I'm about to grab some popcorn, because this is about to go nuclear. Sophia's meltdown was immediate and catastrophic. Within minutes of the resort's cancellation notice, She flooded the wedding group chat with a full-on breakdown. This is a nightmare. How could they do this to me? I spent a year planning this wedding. I've invested too much to let it fall apart. She followed up with voice messages, each more hysterical than the last. She was sobbing, screaming, and at one point, I think she even threw something across the room because I heard a loud crash in the background. Meanwhile, Ethan was frantically trying to do damage control. Everyone, calm down. We still have options. We can find another venue. It's not too late. But no one was on his side anymore. Cousin Laura responded first. Another venue? The wedding is in 2 weeks. Do you think Santorini just has luxury resorts lying around waiting for last-minute bookings? Uncle Mark, never one to mince words, added, Son, your wedding is dead. Let it go. Aunt Brenda, maybe you can move it to a nice backyard ceremony? You know, like normal people do. That was the last straw. Sophia went ballistic. I will not have a backyard wedding. I deserve a luxury experience. I've worked too hard for this. Worked too hard? For a moment, I just sat there, staring at my phone. Worked hard doing what exactly? Making overpriced mood boards? Terrorizing wedding planners until they quit? Acting like a queen while expecting everyone else to foot the bill? Lily, of course, couldn't resist. Sophia, I don't think you understand how weddings work. You don't just deserve a luxury event. You pay for one. That set Sophia off again. You're all against me. I knew your family never accepted me. So now we were the problem? Aunt Linda, bless her soul, tried to calm things down. Sweetheart, no one is against you. But this wedding might need to be reconsidered. But Sophia wasn't listening. She was spiraling, lashing out at everyone. You all ruined this. You've destroyed the most important day of my life. If everyone had just supported us, none of this would have happened. And then, just like that, she dropped the final bomb. Ethan, I cannot marry into this family. Either you cut them off, or I cancel the wedding. Silence. Not just in the group chat, actual silence. No one responded. No one even knew what to say. For once in his life, Ethan didn't have an immediate comeback. Lily, finally breaking the tension, texted me privately. Oh my God. She actually said it. She gave him an ultimatum. I swallowed hard. Because as crazy as this all had been, we had just hit a new level of disaster. Sophia had officially given Ethan a choice. Us or her. The ultimatum hung in the air like a live grenade, waiting for someone to either defuse it or let it explode. The family group chat had gone completely silent. Not a single response. Not even from Uncle Rick, who had been merciless up until this point. It was obvious. Everyone was waiting to see what Ethan would do. Lily called me almost immediately. Oh, my God, Nathan, did that just happen? Yeah, I muttered, still staring at my phone. She actually said it. She just gave Ethan the it's me or them ultimatum. Yep. Lily inhaled sharply. Holy hell. I could practically hear the wheels turning in her head. So what do you think he's going to do? She asked. I let out a slow breath. I honestly don't know. But if he picks her, that's it. He's done. There's no coming back from this. Lily was quiet for a second. Mom and Dad must be freaking out. You think? I scoffed. Dad's probably pacing the house, and Mom's stress baking an entire batch of cookies she won't even eat. Should we call them? No. Let's wait. Let's see what Ethan does. So we waited. The group chat remained dead. Hours passed. Nothing. Not a single word from Ethan. It wasn't until 9:42 p.m. that my phone finally rang. It was him. I hesitated before answering. Yeah. Silence. Then a deep, shaky breath. I called it off. I sat up straight. The wedding. The whole thing, he muttered. It's over. We're done. I was not expecting that. For a moment I just sat there, processing. Are you okay? I finally asked. He let out a bitter laugh. I don't even know, man. His voice sounded off. Tired. Hollow. Like someone who had just watched his entire future collapse. She lost her mind, Nathan. he admitted, voice raw. The second I told her I wasn't cutting off my entire family, she snapped. She screamed at me, threw her phone across the room, told me I was a disgusting excuse for a man. I swallowed. Jesus. I just stood there, man. I just looked at her. And for the first time, I really saw her. And what did you see? He exhaled. Someone who didn't love me. Someone who loved control. Someone who loved the idea of being married to me, but not actually me. There it was. The epiphany. The realization that all of this, everything, had been about her and her fantasy wedding. Not about love. Not about him. She told me I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me, he added. And what did you say? He let out a short, empty laugh. I told her she was right. I leaned back. Holy hell, Ethan. Yeah. A long silence stretched between us. So where are you now? I finally asked. At the airport. Booked a last-minute flight home. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Good. For the first time in years, my brother was finally free. The next morning, Ethan was back home. I expected him to look wrecked, like a man who had just nuked his entire future. I imagined him stumbling into my apartment with dark circles under his eyes, still half in shock. But when I opened the door, he just looked relieved. Tired, sure. A little dazed, but not broken. Welcome back, I said. He let out a tired chuckle. Thanks, man. I stepped aside, letting him inside. He dropped his duffel bag in the hallway, rubbing the back of his neck. This is weird, he muttered. What is? Just being back here after everything. I got it. 2 months ago, he was planning a wedding in Santorini, thinking he was on top of the world. Now, he was standing in my apartment, single, unemployed. He quit his job to move in with Sophia, and with nothing to show for it. Well, almost nothing. Mom and Dad are making dinner, I said, cutting through the tension. Emma's already there. If you're up for it. He nodded. Yeah, I could eat. We drove in silence. Not awkward, just heavy. Like there were a million things he could say, but none of them really mattered anymore. The second we stepped into the house, Mom nearly tackled him. Oh, sweetheart. We're so glad you're home. She hugged him so tight I thought he might actually suffocate. Dad stood by the doorway, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. But when Mom finally let Ethan go, he simply said, "Good to see you, son." That was Dad's version of an emotional breakdown. And then, of course, Lily, sitting at the dining table, grinning like a madwoman. You look like you just got out of prison, she teased. Ethan smirked. It kind of feels like I did. Dinner was shockingly normal. No drama, no guilt trips, just family. But Ethan was quieter, more thoughtful. Every now and then, I'd catch him staring off into space, like he was replaying everything in his head. And then, after dessert, Lily leaned in, eyes twinkling. Sue, she drawled. Any updates on crazy ex-fiancée? Ethan groaned. Please don't call her that. Why not? She grinned. She literally went nuclear on social media. Dad frowned. She stopped that nonsense, right? Lily snorted. Oh, hell no. She's still at it. Apparently, she's healing through expression. Mom sighed. That poor girl needs therapy. Ethan didn't react much, which told me he was really, truly over it. At least that's what I thought. Until 3 months later, when Lily called me screaming. Oh my God. Check Instagram. Right now. Why? What happened? Haley is engaged. I nearly dropped my phone. What? To who? No clue. Some guy named Brandon. She just posted a whole-ass announcement like she's royalty. I opened Instagram and, sure enough, there it was. A ridiculously staged engagement photo, with Sophia beaming and a ring that looked suspiciously familiar. The caption? True love always finds a way. I immediately sent it to Ethan. Dude, you seeing this? He responded almost instantly. Yeah, don't care. Lily, of course, wasn't letting this go. How the hell did she go from heartbroken victim to engaged again in 3 months? I thought about it. Then something clicked. Unless I texted back. She was already talking to this guy before the breakup. Silence. Then, Lily's response. Oh, my God. We all knew Sophia was manipulative, but the timeline didn't add up. There was no way she met, fell in love, and got engaged to someone in 3 months. I called Ethan. You really don't care about this? I asked. He sighed. I mean, it's weird, yeah. But at this point, she's not my problem anymore. Fair enough. But Lily? Lily went full detective mode. An hour later, she sent us a link to Brandon's Instagram. And holy hell, this guy was a walking red flag. Self-absorbed gym bro constantly posting about high-value men deserve high-value women. Had a podcast about alpha male mindset. His captions were painful. Never let a woman think she's the prize. You are the prize, king. Jesus. She upgraded from a controlling bride to a full-blown narcissist. I muttered. And sure enough, 9 months later, it all blew up. One evening, Lily called me, cackling. Check Twitter. Check Twitter. Check Twitter right now. I opened it and immediately lost my mind. Sophia had gone on another rant. Except this time, it wasn't about Ethan. It was about Brandon. I've been emotionally controlled for the last 9 months. I gave my all to someone who only wanted power over me. I thought I found my soulmate, but I was wrong. I refreshed her page. She had deleted all photos of him. Lily sent another message. They broke up. She did it again. I texted Ethan the news. His response. Karma is beautiful. For the first time in years, my brother was actually happy. And Sophia? She was imploding. After Sophia's dramatic Twitter meltdown, things went quiet for a while. For the first time in what felt like years, Ethan wasn't dealing with some ridiculous crisis. He focused on himself, started hitting the gym again, reconnected with old friends, and, shockingly, got a huge promotion at work. One night, he called me out of nowhere. His voice sounded different, lighter. I got it, he said, breathless. The promotion? Yeah. Director of Operations. Higher pay. Better benefits. And I don't have to deal with my jackass boss anymore. That's huge, I said. We're celebrating. Drinks on you. He snorted. Fine, but only if you let me pick the bar. And just like that, Ethan was moving forward. He had spent so much time tangled up in Sophia's drama that he had forgotten what it felt like to actually live his own life. Now he was finally in control again. Then, a few months later, he met Lena. I knew she was different the first time I saw them together. They met at a networking event for his company. She was a marketing consultant, sharp, driven, effortlessly confident. Unlike Sophia, who demanded attention at all times, Lena had a quiet kind of presence that made people gravitate toward her without even trying. One night, Ethan invited a few of us out for drinks. Lily and I showed up first. When they walked in, I saw it immediately. He was smitten. Lena shook my hand firmly. So you're the infamous Nathan. Infamous. She chuckled. Ethan told me you're the one who made him realize how ridiculous his ex was. That's me, I said. The family's unofficial wedding disaster analyst. She laughed, and for the first time in a long time, I saw Ethan look truly at ease. No tension, no forced smiles, just genuine happiness. Later that night, while Lena was chatting with Lily, I nudged Ethan. She's great, man. He smiled. Yeah, she really is. Meanwhile, on the Sophia front, things were going downhill fast. Her social media popularity was tanking. After her very public breakup with Brandon, people stopped seeing her as a luxury lifestyle influencer and started seeing her for what she really was, a manipulative train wreck. Brands that used to send her free products stopped working with her. A few even publicly distanced themselves, saying they did not align with certain behaviors. But the worst part? Her parents were drowning in wedding debt. Remember how she and Ethan had tried to book the luxury Santorini wedding before finalizing payments? Turns out, a lot of that debt had ended up on her family's credit cards. Lily, of course, found out before anyone else. You are not going to believe this, she texted one night. I called immediately. Okay, tell me. Sophia's parents had to remortgage their house. I nearly choked. What? Yep, she said gleefully. Apparently, they took out a huge loan for the wedding, thinking they'd recover the money from guest payments. But when everyone bailed, they were left with massive unpaid balances. I sat back, stunned. That's honestly insane. It gets better, Lily said. Sophia tried launching some self-growth coaching program, but no one signed up. She literally cannot rebrand herself after all the damage she's done. Karma is doing a full tap dance on her life. But the absolute peak moment happened a few weeks later. Ethan got a text from Sophia. After everything, the failed wedding, the public meltdown, the rushed engagement, and the humiliating breakup, she actually had the audacity to reach out. He showed me the message. Hey, I know it's been a while, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. I miss you. I think we should talk. I blinked at the screen. She's serious? Ethan rolled his eyes. I'm not responding. Good. She's probably trying to get something out of you. Oh, I know she is, he said. But I've moved on. And I'm never going back. And just like that, Ethan had won. Ethan never responded to Sophia's message. He didn't block her, didn't acknowledge it, didn't even give her the satisfaction of a read receipt. He simply let her words sit there, unanswered, fading into nothing. And that was the real victory. Sophia had spent her entire life controlling the narrative. First with Ethan. Then with the wedding disaster. After that, with her fake fairy tale engagement to Brandon. And finally, with her dramatic victim act online. But now, she had no more power. No one cared. She was no longer the glamorous, high-value influencer she pretended to be. Her reputation was shattered. Her engagement ring had barely cooled before she jumped to another guy. And her attempts to rebrand herself as a self-growth guru had flopped. Even her parents, who had enabled her behavior for years, were paying the price. Literally. Lily and I kept waiting for her to try something drastic. Maybe another ridiculous social media stunt. Maybe a half-hearted attempt to expose Ethan as a manipulative ex. But nothing ever came. Sophia had burned every bridge. And there was no rebuilding from the ashes. Meanwhile, Ethan was thriving. For the first time in years, he was living for himself. Work was great. His new promotion had given him a level of independence he never had before. His social circle was no longer made up of people who cared about money and appearances. He had real friends again. And most importantly, he had Lena. A year after Sophia's meltdown, Ethan invited us all to dinner. It was casual, nothing flashy. Just family and a few close friends. But when we arrived, I saw it immediately. The way he looked at her. The way she looked at him. The quiet understanding between them. Halfway through the meal, he stood up and cleared his throat. I have something to say. The table went silent. Mom's eyes widened. Lily nudged me under the table. Ethan took a deep breath. I wasted a lot of time chasing the wrong things. I thought success meant money. That love meant proving something to the world. I let myself get caught up in an image instead of what actually matters. And I almost lost everything because of it. He turned to Lena and smiled. But then I met someone who reminded me that love isn't about luxury or exclusivity. It's about partnership. It's about being better, together. Lena's eyes shimmered. Ethan reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box, and got down on one knee. Everyone gasped. Lena covered her mouth. I don't need a $120,000 wedding. I don't need NDAs or yacht parties or a guest list filled with people who don't actually care about me. All I need is you. He opened the box. A simple, elegant ring. Nothing gaudy. Nothing designed for Instagram clout. Just something real. Lena, Ethan said softly, will you marry me? Tears spilled down her cheeks as she nodded. Yes. The room erupted in cheers. Mom started crying. Dad gave Ethan the proudest nod I'd ever seen. Lily, of course, whispered to me, wow, a wedding where the bride actually loves the groom. What a concept. I laughed. But deep down, I knew this was different. Ethan had changed. He had learned. And this time, he wasn't chasing some illusion of happiness. He had found something real. And that was the kind of wedding worth celebrating.